You're listening to
Super Co-op Squad
in our special Pokemon episode.
Gotta catch 'em all.
And welcome back to another episode of the Super Co-op Squad. We are the Super Co-op Squad and we love games. We're also pretty big fans of movies, comics, and other pop culture content. But you know what we're huge fans of since like little baby times? Pokemon. We have been huge Pokemon fans. Every week we sit down, we're going to talk about news, games, announcements. But this week we're going to talk about Pokemon since it's a new generation of Pokemon that is releasing this Friday, which is today. I am one of your hosts, Johnny. I am joined on my left by co-host Garrett.
Charmeleon, Wartortle, Mewtwo, Tentacruel, Aerodactyl, Armanine, Slowpoke, Pidgeot, Arbok. That's all, folks.
All right, that was very good. I know where you're going with that, but you cleaned it up. And directly across from me here is Joshua.
Who's this Pokemon?
It's Joshua. It's Joshua!
Yeah! All right, so
does the Joshua Pokemon sound like what's his name? Lil Jon?
What are you talking about?
Yeah!
What?
No, you don't sound like Little John. Little John.
I'm Tyrone.
Who?
Moving on.
What are you talking about, crazy person? So guys, this is going to kind of be the end of the week podcast or the midweek podcast. We'll do something a little bit different. You know, sometimes it'll be about a specific game or a movie review. It could be us reviewing the Sega Saturn. Probably not anytime soon, but it's a possibility. And so this week for the midweek podcast, we're going to be bringing you guys a special Pokemon kind of homage. We're talking about the series a little bit, what we liked, what we didn't like, and we're going to give you guys our top 10 pocket monsters. So to start, how did you guys get into Pokemon? What did you like? What brought you into the game?
So Pokemon, I believe, started with me was walking into a Target with my mom and looking at that glass case where you can pick out what video games you want, and there's red and blue. I said, Mommy, I want that one.
He still talks to his mom that way.
And it was Pokemon Red that was taking out the case.
Ugh, red.
What do you got against red, Johnny?
I picked blue, of course.
What do you have against red, Johnny?
I picked blue. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes. What do you have against red, Johnny?
I mean, nothing against you personally, sir.
Thank you.
Red's a great color for hair, so I
Yes.
mean, it's not a great color for your Pokemon cartridge.
Okay.
You didn't even get green.
Green
You
was
just got the knockoff, the American one. Blue.
Yeah, it was made for us, for red, white, and blue. All right, so you got the game, and I mean, you just jump in, and you fell in, or
Went over to my aunt's house that very evening with my fat Game Boy.
yeah, man.
The good one. I remember the exact wall that I posted up on and just put in my, 6 AA batteries?
4.
I think it's 4.
Still a
That was
lot.
the Game Gear. That was the Game Gear.
Yeah,
Gear.
Game Gear took 6.
Sorry. And I started my Pokemon adventure. Pokemon I started off with. And I've been the same every game so far. Start off with Bulbasaur. Grass type.
Yeah,
Bulbasaur.
he's a walking salad.
At least he's not a walking turtle
Dragon?
tank.
Dragon? He's not a walking dragon?
Dragon!
Joshua, what about you?
So I don't remember how I got my original Pokemon game. I don't remember if it was a gift or whatnot. But I believe I had red. And
Yeah.
I think that because the show came out prior to the game, right?
I think after.
I remember the show and then getting the game after the fact.
I believe the show released in America after the games were released.
So I didn't play Pokemon right when it came out. I played it shortly after, but I think within the same year or so. But I think the show kind of came on, and then it's like, oh, there's a game about it, and then I played it, and it was a lot of fun. It was very addicting, trying to catch them all, and you get to
Gotta catch him.
kind of customize your party, but then you learn new abilities, and then you pick which ones you want to do, and then you go from there. And little did we know that this was actually
Did you just explain Pokemon to us?
sure.
Well, the listeners, maybe that.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe somebody doesn't know what the game is.
Maybe. Okay.
But it traditionally it is an RPG.
Shame on you if you don't know how to play Pokemon.
I mean, we can always fall back on. No, I just tell the listeners.
Yep.
Yeah. So true. If we ever don't know anything,
you know what? You can also.
Can you explain it to them? I mean, I know what you're talking about.
Anyone that says they don't like role-playing games, but they like the Pokemon game is just
ignorant.
You're a hypocrite because it's a Pokemon. It's an RPG.
Yep. Or ignorant.
Ignorant.
Just not knowing.
Would you rather be ignorant or a hypocrite?
Maybe ignorant. That way I have something to fall back on that I didn't know, rather than saying I know this but I don't believe it.
Okay. I'd probably be a hypocrite, but I'd like to have the knowledge.
You probably would be.
Yes, I would. For myself, I started off watching the show and I loved it. I can remember a lot of times where the show came on out here in California on channel 13. Back then it was called UPN. It doesn't even exist anymore. I think it merged with the Warner Brothers show, the WB, and it's now the CW. Those two stations merged.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure I know. That was not like a maybe. I know that for a fact. But yeah, it would come on UPN's channel 13 out here in California at 7 a.m. And it was like a 3-mile kind of walk for me to get to school. And I would sit there and the show would come on and I'd eat my cereal. And as soon as the show turned off, I had to hustle my butt to school because I was probably going to be late. But without fail, I would watch my Pokemon every morning. And it was just so awesome. And just the feeling as I turned on the TV and it would suck. It'd be like 6:45 and the news would be on. I'm like, stupid news. Yeah. And then I'm just waiting, and then finally, like, that Pokemon theme song comes. Yeah, the Pokemon.
I want to be the very best. I'm not going to go into
no
the song.
No one ever was.
Dun, 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 dun. To catch them is my real test.
To train them is my cause.
I will travel across the land,
searching far and wide.
Dun, 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 dun.
Each Pokemon to understand the power that's inside.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny.
Pokemon.
Oh, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend. Pokemon.
We're hearts so true.
Our courage will pull us
through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all.
Pokemon. Sorry, guys. Sorry about
that.
If you're still listening
that's
to
just
us,
nostalgia.
If you're still listening to us,
we
thanks.
love you. We love you for listening. If you endured that. Yeah, but that would come on.
Everybody's saying along to that.
Probably, yeah. That would come on, and I would just love it. And so that was my first experience. I didn't get my first game for a while later, and a buddy actually gave me his blue version, and I played the crap out of that game. I loved it so much. So, what was appealing to you? Like, why did this is a huge phenomenon now. It's just spawned all kinds of different TV shows and toys and merchandise. They've had over a dozen games come out. They've taken the core game and done, way different things with it. Why is this so awesome?
What hooked me into it was just all the different kind of creatures and Pokemon to catch. It's kind of continued throughout my life into adulthood, and I love collecting things, so this was the game that probably started that.
Very cool.
I played other RPGs before this, and RPGs were very addictive for me, so I got it, and I think it was the progression was fun. You had to find out how to use rare candies to level up quicker, so it's almost like you're cheating, but you're not cheating. But then I found out how to get Missing No, or how to encounter it.
Missing number?
Missingo.
It's Missing No. There's no Number.
It's an abbreviation, but okay.
No, an abbreviation would be the pound sign.
So Missing No. You found Missing No and you cheated.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. You're like, oh, I got this glitch trick where I can just get eliminated anything by cruising down
this
the
guy
coastline.
Calls himself a trainer.
Cinnabar Island. I didn't say I used it. I'm just saying it was cool to find out about a glitch. And then you can tell all your friends about it, and then you're the cool kid.
Look at you, sir. All right, so for myself, I think the appeal kind of comes from just the world that was created. As a 10-year-old boy myself, playing a 10-year-old boy, going off and literally leaving his mom and his home.
Bye,
and
Mom.
Yeah,
I'm off my own
what
now.
what kind of world is that? A 10-year-old could just leave and go off adventuring without even a backwards glance.
Dangerous.
Yeah,
world.
man, battling with Pokemon, with animals essentially. But yeah, so you would leave, and there's this sense of wonder as you kind of you lived like an adult, and you went and you fought and you trained to be the best. And like Garrett talked about with all the different Pokemon, there were these you eat birds and cats and dogs or whatever. And they were different. They were like magical almost. So I love that. And I love like getting stronger and like putting my team against my friend's team with the link cable. More on that later. And so that's what was appealing to me.
Was it always shocking when you run into a trainer, another fellow trainer? You're like, oh, there's another person to talk to. Wait a minute, they found me. I just want to hear the encounter. Like if you play Metal Gear Solid, it's just like. Every time someone sees you, you just don't make eye contact in a 6-square radius.
I would try.
They won't see you, even though you're in the direct line of sight. If you're 6 tiles away, they can't see you.
No, they see, but like, he's too far.
He's too lazy.
I don't want to come up to him
carrying all these Pokeballs.
If he was one step closer, though, I'd make the walk.
That move, right?
I wonder. So, like, a Pokeball makes him smaller. Do you think it makes it lighter? Like, where does the mass go? Like, wouldn't he still, like, if you're lugging around an Onix, do you still have the weight of an Onix on your hip?
It's Pokemon.
Alternate dimensions of matter.
Let's not even delve into that. Right. It's Pokemon.
Science.
All right. So, what were some of your like favorite Pokemon moments? Like playing the game. What is something that you think back you just loved?
So I guess this kind of ties into what my favorite generation is of Pokemon, and my favorite Pokemon memory was playing Gold and Silver. I bought in Silver. Right. I bought in Silver. I didn't want Gold because everyone else was getting Gold.
You, sir, get a pound because we very rarely agree on things, and I also went Silver.
I wanted Silver, and the best part of that was you're spending your whole childhood in Johto, catching all these second-gen Pokemon, and I believe this time I started with... No. I stuck with Grass, Chikorita. And so I'd gone through the whole, 8 badges and 8 gyms and beat the Johto League. And then you think, okay, well, that's the game. All right, that was fun. Wait, what? I can go to Kanto? I can go to Pallet Town? And, you fight all of the gym leaders from the first one, from the first game. And so it was 2 games in 1, and now you're catching first-gen Pokemon, and it was really cool.
That was very awesome. What do you got, Joshua?
Well, Garrett stole my moment.
Sorry,
it's
a good moment.
I actually talked about it in the regular podcast, but that was my favorite moment too. But more or less, you at the end of the game, you pretty much go through the same caves and the same trials and whatnot, and then you end up finding Red, or the character from the first Pokemon game, and you battle him, and then you see all the leveled up Pokemon. You get to fight Charizard and Blastoise and Venusaur and Pikachu's, of course, the last one.
You mean Venusaur?
Venusaur, what'd I say?
I'm just messing. You said Venusaur.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me for my dialect. But that was just amazing, and to relive that, and that moment was something special for that particular game because it was a throwback to the first game, but then all this extra stuff that was added onto it. And then you're like, 16 badges? I'm the real Pokemon master.
That was awesome. So for me, you guys talked about some great things in the game. For me, it actually was an experience outside of the game. So I had played Blue. Later, my sister had gotten Red. And I remember very specifically, we had been at a Target near our home. And at that point, you could pre-order games at Target for $1. So my dad pre-ordered us the games, and we anxiously waited for the games to come out. And they did come out. And we went into the Target, and we got them. And it was so exciting. And then we got in the car. My dad stopped off at a grocery store, and we busted out our Game Boys. And at that point, I had the big old fat monstrosity. Yeah, my sister had the Game Boy Color. It was all purple and see-through, and it was so cool because I got silver and she got gold, and we were all kids just have that burst of excitement. And we opened the games, and we're waiting in the car, and we put them in, and we're like, at the same time, 3, 2, 1, we turn it on and we start our game together, and she makes me her rival and I make her my rival. And it was just so awesome, because, we're siblings and I'm a few years older than her. And, siblings fight. And so there's moments, where it's nice that I can look back and we have this awesome bonding experience. And that's how I felt. It was such a cool bonding moment from my sister and I. And then as I played the games through years, I met other friends and played the games with them and experienced things. But I remember that moment to start Gold and Silver, where we just had this moment of just having childlike bliss together. It's a good memory.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Yeah. You want to hear a cool moment for me?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
I'm going to be the rebel because I'm always the rebel regardless of what you guys choose. So I ended up picking Gold.
You know, that's fine. That's fine.
It was
no
hate. It was a 50-50 choice, and I went left. So I had enjoyed the first game so much that I remember that I was going on a camping trip with my church somewhere. It was probably a 4 or 5 hour drive or whatever, and we were supposed to meet up at like 9 o'clock in the morning or whatnot. So the day that we were leaving was the day that the Pokemon Gold and Silver came out. So I think I rode my bike 2 miles to where the closest target was.
Professor Oak's voice rings in your head. You can't use that here.
I used it anyway. I broke the code. I rode my bike to Target, waited till they opened at like 8 or something, went straight to the back, had some money, bought the game, went back home, walked to church, which was like a couple blocks away. And then once we left, then I opened the game and started playing it. And that was just like, wow. And I think throughout the weekend of the trip, it was like a 3-day weekend. On the way back, I was already halfway done. And I was like, cool, I beat the game, this and then I found out there's a whole nother region. And I was like, well, I'm going to wait till I get home to finish this.
You said halfway done. That means you were halfway through the Pokédex, right? Because you're not done until your Pokédex is complete.
Couldn't
sir.
tell you. But I was done in one region, and I went to another. But I did catch eventually all 200. Well, I didn't catch all of them. You can't catch them all. But I did have...
You can't catch them all. I'm a Pokemaster, sir.
Well, there's certain Pokemon that you can't catch.
That's because you weren't as good.
In one cartridge, you cannot catch them all, sir.
There's
they
ways.
don't all exist in one cartridge, Johnny. Without cheating, Johnny.
Unless you're using the Game Shark.
Without cheating, Johnny.
Remember Game Shark?
Oh, yeah.
Shark of all games?
Yes. Terrible. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start off this top 10 list, starting with 10, winding all the way down to our number 1 favorite pocket monsters or Pokemon. Who wants to start it off?
Wait, Garrett, are we gonna do our other thing later or right now?
Let's just get this Pokemon thing going here, sir. So who wants to do their Pokemon number 10? Do you want me to kickstart that or?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right, so my number 10 is gonna be Lugia.
Lugia?
It is called Lugia. So Lugia is a legendary Pokemon. It's the Pokemon that is on the cover of Pokemon Silver and Pokemon Soul Silver when they remade it. And I just like that Pokemon just because, again, that memory I have of my childhood and my sister and I and playing those games together and just that moment we started this adventure at the same moment. We were just in such happiness together and loving each other and then just loving this game and experiencing it as we played it together. And whenever I think of that cover, this is the feeling that I get. And so that's why Lugia is my number 10.
All right, coming in at Garrett's number 10.
Here we go.
Alakazam.
Okay.
I thought Alakazam was a really cool Pokemon. He's psychic, and I really like how his evolution process is Abracadabra Alakazam.
That is very cool.
I thought that was really cool. The reason why he's coming in at number 10 is actually, it reminds me of a memory back to the Pokemon trading card game. I was a dumb kid, and
Sorry,
I had an Alakazam, but what I didn't have was a Hitmonchan. And so here's this kid with a Hitmonchan. I'm like, oh, he's got boxing gloves. It's cool.
Wow.
I traded an Alakazam for a Hitmonchan.
Was it a holo?
It was.
That's
You
a shame.
suck.
Well, I mean, the Hitmonchan was hollow.
How do you feel now?
I feel okay. I feel better because I ended up getting an Alakazam again.
Okay.
But, yeah, so that happened.
All right.
But Alakazam is still pretty cool.
Very nice.
You'll never have to worry about spoons ever again because you always have 2 on you.
What do you got, Joshua?
So because you went first, you took you took my number 10.
Is yours the same as mine?
Yes, it is.
All right, well, why?
Lugia.
It is not Lugia, sir. It's Lugia.
I thought it was cool that they introduced a psychic and a flying Pokemon kind of put together, and it was just a cool beast to come across, being one of the 2 legendary birds the Gold and Silver series.
Mhm.
So you kind of go to the top of that tower, you fight that Pokemon, you catch them, which is somewhat tough earlier on in that game. And it was just an accomplishment I did, and I was like, this is gonna be one of my 6 that I use. And that's
Nice.
what happened.
All right, so moving on to number 9. My number 9 is Moltres. Another legendary bird, legendary fire bird. Moltres is my number 9. For one, I think fire types are my favorite type of Pokemon. There's the way it looks. I mean, it's just a phoenix. I know that, but I just like that classic look that they have, and then just to play on its name, where it's fire, so it's Molten and Moltres, and how the fact that those 3 legendary birds all have a number in them in Spanish. So Articuno, Zapdos, and then Moltres, which is really cool. So that's pretty much why Moltres is my number 9.
He just looks like a rubber chicken on fire.
He looks like
I'm
a
sorry.
phoenix. A phoenix reborn.
Phoenix look majestic and beautiful. Moltres looks like a rubber chicken.
You look like a
on
rubber
fire.
chicken.
Is it the rubber chicken that's like,
Wow. What's your number 9?
Coming in at number 9, Eevee. See, you thought I was going to go Eevee. I do like Eevee, but he didn't make the list. Eevee, the legendary bird Pokemon from Y, is my number 9. Honestly, just because of the way he looks. I got nothing else. He's just a cool looking bird.
All right.
A lot better than Moltres.
He is. Listeners, please send out some tweets or some emails and prove this guy wrong. Moltres is clearly, first of all, classic and the much better legendary bird.
Classic's fine, but the Vito looks way cooler.
No way.
It's a little redundant when you have to cook yourself a piece of chicken.
All right, what do you got, Joshua? Number 9.
So Garrett's taking my Pokemon, just maybe not literally, but like giving it away.
Team Rocket up in here,
Yeah.
taking all your Pokemon.
Eevee is actually my number 9.
Okay.
So it's a little cute, puppy-looking creature, but what I liked about Eevee is you had multiple evolutions that you can do based on what stones that you find, and then you can evolve them to a certain type. And then in later games, you get more evolutions that expand. And there's some pretty cool like T-shirts and stuff that are out there now. But because you can kind of choose, and then if you catch more Eevees, and you can eventually evolve them all, that's what I liked. They're like brothers.
Very
and
cool.
sisters.
All right, so my number 8 is going to be Piplup. So Piplup is one of the starter Pokemon. Garrett's making a really mean face like he's going to throw up. Piplup is a great Pokemon. Anyway, Piplup is one of the starter Pokemon from, I believe, Pokemon Pearl and Diamond.
Yes.
And this is, I believe, one of the only times that I picked a non-fire type for my starter. And I just liked Piplup. He was so cool looking and little nice penguin. And then he grows up to be Empoleon, this water steel type beast of a just king penguin, an emperor penguin. He's just awesome. He has ice moves, he has water moves, he has steel type moves. He was just a really cool Pokemon, and I like the way that they designed him. So that's Piplup.
Coming in at number 8,
That is 8 more times with this guy.
Zapdos. The coolest and awesomest of the legendary 3 birds. Zapatos, yes.
Lightning shoes.
You catch him at the power plant. For those listeners that don't know, go to the power plant. That's where you get your Zapdos. Save right in front of him because he's tricky. And Zapdos is just the coolest. He's electric, he's spiky, and looks cool.
He doesn't even have the shape of a bird.
Fire. Yeah, he does have the shape of a bird.
He just looks like a bunch of zigzags.
At least he doesn't look like a rubber
like
chicken.
Like a 5-year-old drew him.
My sharp Zapdos can poke a hole in your rubber Moltres.
He's not rubber. He's a phoenix. He's a phoenix. He'll just be reborn. You can't stop him.
Rubber phoenix.
Can't stop. Won't stop.
Rubber phoenix. And that is Zapdos.
All right, Joshua.
Number 8 for me is 1-2 Punch Hitmonchan. Gary, if you're gonna say yeah, you gotta say yeah in the mic. So Hitmonchan was just a cool character. He looked kind of weird, but he had boxing gloves. He's a fighter, and that's something that I think was just really cool. You have a fighting Pokemon that looked like a boxer, and whether it was, we all know Hitmonchan was kind of based on Jackie Chan, and Hitmonlee was kind of somewhat based on Bruce Lee. So kind of having that tie-in together was pretty cool. But being a boxer and being somewhat of a boxing fan in other games and whatnot, that was my pick.
All right. So my number 7 is going to be Gyarados. Not Garrett Dose. Gyarados.
We couldn't handle
Not you.
2 of Garrett.
Not 2 Garretts. No, not Garrett Dose. That'd be a problem. Gyarados. So the evolved form of Magikarp. And I just like the fact that it's so funny that, there's Magikarp. He's this orange fish. Literally, he's just a fish for the most part. He can't do anything. He has no moves, no abilities. The only power he has is Splash, which, funnily enough, is a misinterpretation of the Japanese word for hop. So his ability is supposed to only be hop. He can just hop up and down. Just that's it. He can't hurt anyone. He can't wet anybody. Nothing. And through just being kicked around and ignored, he becomes this angst-ridden, just angry, giant water snake named Gyarados.
He goes Super Saiyan?
The Dragon Ball references. I suppose from a certain point of view, he does get angry and go Super Saiyan.
It's over 9,000.
His power level can only go to 100, sir, because he's a Pokemon. Unless you're cheating with your missing, though. So there you go. But yeah, Gyarados is my number 7.
Coming in at number 7.
I think it only works if you're the first person to be the number 7.
Yeah,
he's gonna just do this no matter what.
Yeah, he's gonna do it either way. Scyther. Scyther's awesome, except for the point that he can't really pick anything up.
How does he eat? Does he put his face in the grass?
Yeah, he just cuts something up and then nom nom nom.
He's a chef of sorts.
He's a chef of sorts. Scyther is really cool. I love that his arms are blades.
Scyther!
That's sort of the sound he makes.
What's the sound that he makes?
Scyther!
Okay, he did it much better. I won't even.
He's a good lawnmower.
He's a good lawnmower, good hairstylist. Edward Scizor Scyther.
That's a good
Edward
name.
Scizor. Yeah, that works. That works. I don't think his evolved metal form is cooler. I don't think Scizor is cooler than Scyther. I'd much rather have a Scyther than a Scizor.
Let's move on, Joshua.
Oh, we're good? Okay. So, my number 7 is second gen Pokemon, second evolution of Cyndaquil. It is Quilava. So,
right.
I really like that particular character. Cyndaquil is my starter for Gen 2. Not just because it was a fire type, but I just didn't like how the other two looked. The Cyndaquil was kind of this cutesy little thing, and it evolved into Quilava. It was almost like having a puppy with a fire tail. And I thought it was cute. I thought it was adorable, and had a pretty decent moveset earlier on in the game. And that was a character that I didn't want to evolve when it was time to evolve. So I kept that character probably till level like 40 or 50. And I was like, you know what? You eventually have to evolve. You want to grow up. I totally get it. You bug me every single level, every single hour you want to go. Okay. And it turned into an ugly, like,
Quilava.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Typhlosion. It didn't look. Yeah, it looked like a hyena on like roids or something. It looked ugly.
Later on, they made an item that you can hold that won't allow them to evolve.
That was the Moonstone?
No, dude, no.
I forgot what it was called.
But yeah, I stopped them from like evolving, yeah. So that would have helped.
I threw a random item in there. Sorry.
Yeah, you did. You just guessed. All right, so moving on to number 6. My number 6 would be Flareon. So it's the fire evolution of Eevee.
And you know Eevee spelled backwards is Eevee?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yes, I did know that Eevee spelled backward is Eevee. Yeah.
Did you know that Ekin spelled backwards is snake?
Did you know that Arbok spelled
Cobra.
backward is Cobra?
I said it first.
Wow.
King Cobra?
Wow, you guys suck. Yeah. So number 6 is Flareon. The
Giraffarig.
I don't think that's Giraffarig backwards.
Yeah, I think it is. I think Giraffarig's a palindrome.
So
the same forwards and backwards.
Backwards is Giraffarig?
I believe so.
No, it's not.
Spell it.
Girafrig, which then backwards is GIRF. Girf. Giraffe. Girf.
Farig. It's FAR, I'm sure. I'm looking it up. Keep moving on.
Just keep going.
So anyway, my number 6 is Flareon. It's the fire type of Eevee. I like it because it's just, it's so cute and he's flamey. Like he seems like I have a Jack Russell Terrier. It's one of my dogs, and it seems like that kind of evolution. Like it's nice, but it's also kind of sparky and mean and like, burn you if you ain't paying attention. So that's Flareon. Garrett, what is your number 6?
Coming in at number 6.
Here we go.
Rapidash. Rapidash is awesome. It's a fire horse that you can only touch it if it trusts you. Ponytail does the same thing, but Rapidash is bigger and has a cool horn.
Doesn't Rapid and Dash seem kind of redundant?
It's a rapid dash. It's a dash that happens rapidly.
That's redundant.
It's not redundant. Rapidly is in succession, constantly. A dash is just moving fast.
You should have named it Horsey.
There's already a Horsey. No, yes, there's already a
Horsey. I was waiting to see. There's a Horsey, yeah.
And
okay.
That's dumb.
So
wow.
Fast Fire Horse.
Fast Fire Horse.
Have you got the info for us, sir? Is Giraffrig the same spelled forward and backwards?
You tell me.
I don't see it on the page there. Oh, I see
It's right there in the middle.
Okay, it is spelled the same forward and backwards. Shut up.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, Garrett.
Put that in the Pokemon trivia.
It's too late now.
I'll win that one.
Which Pokemon is a palindrome? You just gotta sit there, look at your brain, and think about it.
What's your number 6, sir?
My number 6 is Entei.
Okay.
So Entei is like a big dog with a silver mustache.
That's a great description.
No, it's just a big dog, and it was almost like what it reminds me of back when I was younger. In the Never-Ending Story.
The Never-Ending Story.
All right, we already sang one song this episode.
Is it Falcor?
That is, yes, that is.
Yeah, that's
correct.
what it reminds me of. Just a big creature that you can ride around and just takes you everywhere. And one of the things that was cool about Gold and Silver is the 3 legendary Pokemon. You had to find them in the wild.
Yeah, man.
And then if you don't catch them, or if they run away, you have to randomly encounter them. And then if you kill them, or if they faint, or whatever you want to call it, you never see them again ever in the lifespan of that particular game.
Right.
So catching that Pokemon, that was the first one I caught.
Their health didn't regenerate either.
No, it did not. So you had to use like weak Pokemon or something or find a Great Ball or Ultra Ball. But that was a character that was just cool to encounter, and to kind of play this hide and seek cat and mouse game was always intriguing to me.
Nice. We'll take a quick little break here to kind of just talk about more things about Pokemon. So you talked a little bit about like missing no a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What were some other like cheats or tricks or things that you did in the game to help you or to do things differently?
So in Gold and Silver, there was the duplication cheat, which actually corrupted my game. So in Kanto,
never prosper.
In Kanto, in I think just above Pallet Town, there's a house that you can go in.
The old man that teaches you how to catch Pokemon?
No, well, not that house. But
right.
Just above it, there's like a little training center where you can go and you end up fighting the 3rd evolution of each of the starter Pokemon.
Right.
So because my game was corrupted, anytime I would go in there, the game would crash. But the cool thing about that house was because Gold and Silver had a day and night cycle, every 24 hours you can go in there and fight those creatures to essentially gain experience from high-level Pokemon. Because that crashed on my save file, I couldn't do that anymore. So it just happened. I couldn't explain why. I mean, I know how it happened.
Learned your lesson, didn't you?
Hey, it's always fun to duplicate all your Master Balls and rare candies or whatever. You can duplicate Pokemon in that game. Like, let me get 100 Dittos and then just...
What? Have a Ditto breed with a Ditto?
Yeah, I made a baby Ditto.
Oh, man. So I remember there was a trick. I believe it was in Pokemon Blue and Red. It might have been in Gold and Silver as well, where you can use the old link cable and you can plug it in. And that's back before we had Wi-Fi or anything or Bluetooth. You had to...
Back in my day, we used link cables.
Yeah, you had to use a cable to connect your Game Boy to another Game Boy to trade Pokemon. And so they had the little bar that would show you as the Pokemon traveled through the cable.
In a little bubble?
Yeah, in a little bubble through the cable and then into the other person's game. And at a certain point, if you pulled the cables out and turned off your game, remember. You can get a copy of both Pokemon. Yeah. So instead of
never knew that.
Yeah, so instead of like, okay, I'm gonna trade you my Pikachu for your Charmander, you would do this. You have to make sure you have a slot open and like saved in your and then they're trading, and you turn it off, and you turn your game back on, and you have the Charmander and the Pikachu.
Yeah, you both have both.
Yeah, you have both Pokemon. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So all right,
I remember that trick.
Level this guy up. All right, let's trade him. All right, boom, and keep him, and it'll be great. And I loved it.
Awesome. Never knew that.
Yeah.
Cheating. So I don't remember the cheats. I did cheat. I'll let that be known. I just don't remember which one I did. I know I encountered Masingo.
Right.
I duplicated items. I think that was really the extent of my cheating, was duplicating items, mostly the Master Ball, so I could just catch whatever legendary I came across.
We know you were a gambler. You spent all your time gambling in the casino and then partying in the Safari Zone.
I did actually. I do think I duplicated like money. So I could buy anything, and also I think the coins in the casino, so I can get that Porygon.
Yep, that's the only way to get it.
It was in the newer games when they had like the action replays, they had codes you could put in. You can catch any Pokemon regardless of how you encounter them. So I used to have a lot of fun. It would be funny. I'd be fighting someone. They have some Pokemon that's not available in my game or whatever. I'm battling him. And I just throw the Pokeball and steal his Pokemon.
Yeah.
While you're battling
him?
Yeah. I'm battling him.
Wow. With an action replay, you can steal Pokemon.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
You just steal some. And if he didn't have any more, that was the end of the battle.
Trainer Bob is over there holding his fishing pole, and he stole his fish Pokemon.
Yeah, so like if I played him and he had a Lapras, that's my Lapras now.
I mean, who would want a Lapras though, right?
You're right.
Wow. All right, we got
a giant surfboard of a creature.
And then another thing that was really funny, back in Blue and Red, the internet was in its earlier days where, I mean, it was there, but kids didn't really have access to it the way they do now. So there was all kinds of rumors flying around on what you could do in Pokemon, this rumor, that rumor, this is a cheat, that's a cheat. And so people would say the most cockamamie things, and if you did it, it would open up this part of the game or new things. And so there were some glitches that worked, like missing no and the link cable thing. So you really didn't know what was real or not. And I remember specifically someone said, oh, well, okay, if you beat the Elite Four 10 times in a row with one Pokemon in your party without using any revives and never talking to a nurse, and then you go to the nurse in this city, then it'll open up Mew, and you can get Mew in your game.
I remember hearing those, crazy rumors.
Right? And so then I would be this stupid kid, and all right, it's just going to be you, Charizard. Just you. You got it. And I'd try to beat the Elite Four 10 times in a row, and I would do it, and then I'd go, and I'm like, all right, here's the moment. I can finally get a Mew. There's no Mew. There's no way.
We hope to see you again.
Yeah, it was bad, man. And they had all kind of little things like that, and kids wasted, I'm sure, so many hours trying to find these fake glitches.
We all have our nerd moments. So in one of the first two generations, so you go through with the Dark Cave, or even towards Indigo Plateau, and you have to go through the whole cave, and it's like a maze at first, and then you have to break a couple rocks and whatnot. So I did that so many times that I had memorized the route that I didn't have to look at it. I didn't have to use
Flash.
Wow.
Yeah, I played it that much because all you see is your character on the bike and whatnot. But I did it so much. I used to ride my bike home from school, and I would actually be riding my bike and have the game in one hand, and I would know where I would start, and then I would map it out. In one hand, I would just up, down, left, right, down, right.
Up, down, left, right, BA, start.
Yep. Start, and then use Flash, and then continue the route. Like, I memorized all that because I played it so much.
What are you?
That's pretty
I'm a
crazy.
freak of nature.
That's pretty good.
I am not lying. That is a true story.
Wow.
All right, so in a previous podcast, we had talked about Pokemon. I had talked about my thoughts on Pokemon as a series and why I will not be picking up Pokemon Sun and Moon. Are you ready to hear?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
you left us on that.
I left you on a
had said
cliffhanger, right?
If someone particular is listening with this great idea.
Right. Okay, so for me, I can't get down with the newer Pokemon games, mostly because they have coddled these games now to where they're just way too easy. I can think back like Pokemon Black and White, I believe that's the ones I'm thinking about, where you get your starter Pokemon, and then they give you another starter Pokemon. You can pick up one of the original three. And then, literally, in the first couple of days of the game's release, they had level 50 Pokemon that you could get for free by downloading them through the mystery gift from Nintendo.
Good old mystery
So in the
gifts.
first... Oh, and they gave you Generation 3 Pokemon at the same time. So in the first day of the game, before you've gotten your first badge, you have three generation types of starters, and they give you level 50 Pokemon. They're just asking you to beat the game.
Well, I mean, they don't listen to you if you don't have the right badges.
Right, but because they're a beast, I mean, all I gotta do is get them to struggle and kill someone. Just leave them in there. They also added the experience share where it gives experience to your entire party all at once.
So actually, I don't have a problem with that. I like that change. I liked being able, because I didn't want to grind to get, a water Pokemon up 20 levels so it can compete with, the gym I'm about to enter.
Then you can't fight that gym.
So I much prefer the experience share where I can use whatever Pokemon I want and everyone gets, I believe, the same exact XP.
I don't like that because, all right, let's. So I want to get in shape. I'm gonna have this guy work out for me. I'm gonna reap the benefits of working out too.
Please.
No.
Psychically.
And honestly, if you really didn't like that, you didn't have to use it.
I just didn't like that it was an option.
It's an option, and you can decline it, and then it never bothers you again.
Just like cheating is an option, Johnny. You don't have to do it.
I mean, I guess I just didn't like it. But here's the thing. Here's my point in bringing that up. Not that was the problem as to why I wouldn't buy it, but they just made the game too easy. Like, you'll get to your 6th, 7th bad, maybe the Elite Four, and you're rocking the maximum amount of Pokemon. You got 6 Pokemon all beasted out, and these guys have 3? Why is the difficulty not scaling? I've always felt that the difficulty of the game, after a certain amount of iterations of the game, needed to be upscaled, or at least have it as an option when you start the game to make the game harder. The game was just too easy. I understand that, at least in the beginning, it was a game that they were marketing to a younger audience, but they've got to know. I mean, they know that a large portion of the purchases of this game now are an older crowd. So give us an option to make the game more challenging. I, for one, and I'm sure many others, would love that.
So that's your big go-to?
So that's the problem that I had. What I think would fix it is this. If you don't want to alienate younger gamers, make 2 different options to play the game. Then also make an MMO online. They already have Pokemon Go, where there's rare Pokemon and hard to find ones, and it's difficult to level things up. If you made that the same way, a top-down 2D game, so it wouldn't take very much graphically, but we can all interact, and there's tons of like regular Pokemon, but it's hard to get the rares, I would be all over that. All over that.
What would you call it?
Pokemon MMO? I don't know, man. I'm not marketing. Just make the game.
Pokemon Mo.
I mean, what do you think? Is that a bad idea? I think that's a great idea.
The MMO idea this is not the first it's ever been brought up.
It needs to be done.
Back then, it was something that I was like, yeah, that's something they need to do. That's something they need to make. Is a Pokemon MMO. After playing for so many years, I don't really care for an MMO anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm happy where Pokemon is, other than them running out of ideas for Pokemon. I like the games for what they are. I like what you do in them. I like just how it's always been. And to add an MMO, I don't think would ruin it, but it's just not something I care for anymore.
Pokemon Stadium 3.
I would really like that.
With poking graphics.
That would be pretty cool. That would be very cool. I can get down with that. All right, guys. So we're going to move into our top 5 here.
But oh, wait. There's someone lurking in the mist.
Prepare for trouble.
And make it double.
To protect the world from devastation.
To unite all peoples
within
our
nation. They're going to do this?
To denounce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to
They're
the
really
stars
gonna
above.
do this.
Jesse.
James.
Team Rocket blast off at the speed of light.
Surrender now or prepare to fight. Johnny, that's right.
I'm not Meowth.
Johnny's kind of Meowth.
I'm not Meowth.
Johnny's totally Meowth. Meowth, Meowth,
I'm
Meowth, 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 Meowth.
No, okay. If these guys are Jesse and James, I'm freaking Giovanni, baby.
No.
I'm Giovanni,
No.
and you are Jesse and James.
Maybe I should have been Jesse. I had the red hair.
That's fine.
Counterproductive.
That's fine.
All right, you two.
Wabba wabba.
I am definitely not Wabba Fett. All right, so number 5, we've got my number 5 is Shuckle.
Sorry, who?
Shuckle.
Shuckle.
He's a worm turtle.
The yellow thing in the red shell.
He's a turtle.
With those arms or legs.
Yeah, so, okay.
Okay.
Shuckle,
I'm not
Shuckle,
going to knock it.
so Shuckle is my number 5 because you got these freaking awesome turtles, Squirtle, War Turtle, Blastoise, just beast. Then you got like Turtwig turning into Tortega or whatever. Just these beastly guys. And you got little Shuckle. He's just a little turtle doing his turtle life, doing a turtle thug thizzle, and he's just a cute little turtle. He's not about power and being cool. He's just him. I like Shuckle.
He looks like he's lost. He looks like he's just like, huh?
So,
Where am I at?
okay, you're putting Shuckle above Moltres.
I'm just saying as far as my favorite. Now I know Moltres.
You're putting Shuckle.
I know Moltres is
above Gyarados.
I know that they're better. I know they're better. I know they're stronger, faster, more powerful, a more desirable Pokemon.
Apparently not to the level of Shuckle.
I mean, yes. If someone said, Johnny, do you want this Gyarados or a Moltres, or you can have a Shuckle? Of course, I would pick the Gyarados or the Moltres. I'd pick the
Would
Moltres.
you? Because apparently you'd pick Shuckle.
I'm just saying, as far as favorites go, as far as this cute little guy, theoretically, hypothetically, Shuckle's he's cool, man.
Flareon? Flareon doesn't stack up to Shuckle?
Turtles are better than fire puppies and dragon fish and chicken flame birds.
I'm just saying.
Okay, fine. I'm not gonna knock it.
So number 5, Shuckle.
I'm worried about your number 2.
Coming in at number Shuckle?
Shuckle, man, he's cool.
I would pick.
He's a turtle. He's a cool turtle,
pick
man.
Over Shuckle.
He has the highest
coming
defense.
in at number 5.
Number 5.
Charizard. Charizard is my top 5. He's pretty cool. I mean, he really should be a dragon, but
He really should be a dragon.
I mean, a fire flying, sure, fine, whatever. That's cool still, I guess.
He can learn dragon type moves.
Why is he not a dragon?
I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
He can dig though.
But Charizard, who is pretty powerful. He's always been, I guess, the staple of Pokemon. Both the trading card game, everyone was lusting after this Charizard.
Well, that was the number. That was like the rarest card, right?
Yes,
at the time, or
at
at
the
least
time,
that was the most popular for sure.
At the time, he's just a big, cool, fire flying type. He's not a dragon. And then he gets Mega Evolutions, different ones in X and Y.
Not a fan of Megas, but okay.
Oh,
Cool.
they were cool. But that's my number 5.
Okay, Joshua.
Once again, stealing my thunder.
Wow.
My number 5.
Whoopsie doodles.
I did ask who wanted to go first.
And I guess you took the reign on that one.
Someone told me to go first.
Maybe.
So your number 5 is Charizard, then?
Yes, my number 5 is Charizard.
Or was it Shuckle?
No. Shuckle is a distant memory. Like, I wouldn't even fight a Shuckle. I would just run away because I would feel
you can't find a Shuckle. You're given a Shuckle.
I would release it.
Wow.
Release it into
He
the
might not be able
wild.
to survive without you.
Oops.
Well, we would never survive with him.
So why is Charizard your number 5?
Similar to what Garrett said, but in my own words, he's a great flying fire beast.
It's not a dragon.
Right. No, Charizard is just a powerful creature. He's an awesome creature from the shows, which he didn't listen half the time, to the game. It's a very powerful creature that you get very early on in the evolution states. And to progress that into the game, especially since in the original game I picked Charmander first, as a lot of people probably did.
As you should.
Yeah, except for Garrett.
Bulbasaur.
He picked a salad.
No one picks the salad.
Bulba.
Right. But it's just a creature that's very empowering, just cool to look at. It had a semi-cool digital sound to him when he popped out of the Pokeball. And there's not much else to say about that.
All right. So moving on to number 4. My number 4 is Smeargle. Hold on. Smeargle's cool, man. So Smeargle.
Let me paint him with my tail, please.
Smeargle is a Pokemon.
Copy everybody's moves because I have nothing
Smeargle-
better to do.
Let me just dip my tail in this vomit.
Smeargle
No,
is
it comes out of the tail.
Smeargle is a Pokemon who has the ability to copy almost. There's only like 3 moves he can't copy out of all Pokemon. He can use all Pokemon type moves. He's a cute little artistic type Pokemon, and he has like a little tail that's got like colors on it, and he can do anything. That's awesome. And he's artistic.
No,
and you know what?
He cannot do anything.
He reminds me of Arthur.
He cannot do anything. He can only do one thing.
Which is everybody's move. He can copy everyone's move. That's everything.
No, it's one thing that he manipulates into everything.
He has a move that copies everyone else's moves.
What is the name of the move? Do you know?
I believe it's called copy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And literally, he's got many uses. You can literally copy a move, and if you keep that move as the one he copied, he can continue to use that. He can also breed with other Pokemon, and then based on his breeding, he can give them that move. He is awesome.
I'm going to find a Ditto to fight against your Smeagol, and then all you can do is copy my transform, and then we're stuck in a time loop.
Shut up.
You'll
well,
never win.
That's my number 4.
I've come to bargain.
Smeagol. I've come to bargain. Coming in at number 4, Mewtwo. Mewtwo is awesome. When he shows up in the show as an experiment, or that Giovanni, I believe, was in charge of.
Right.
And he's got this cool, awesome metal armor. He just looks awesome.
His armor always reminded me of Wolverine.
Weapon X.
Yeah, when he was in the Weapon X program, that's always what it reminded me of.
I can see that. He was just really cool, and then we first meet Mewtwo, I believe, in the movie.
Right.
Yep.
The Pokemon First movie.
Right.
Which is the first Pokemon movie.
Oh yeah.
Movie 2000.
And we learned that we shouldn't treat each other separately based on our differences.
I liked that movie because it had the Pokemon intro song, and it had, what was it, the NSYNC singing that song?
No, NSYNC was not singing that song.
I'm fairly certain
the Pokemon intro or the Pokemon theme.
Yes, I'm almost 100% certain
because I have the first Pokemon album, and NSYNC is not singing that song.
I am so sure that it's NSYNC singing that song. That or the Backstreet Boys, one of the two.
Okay, I guess I'll look at my album when I get home.
All right, because I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it was NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys.
I'll look it up.
But Mewtwo, just kind of sick of being experimented on, and just wants to just not destroy the world, but get rid of the humans and just have Pokemon, and showing that clones are just as powerful as the original versions.
So he wants to create like genocide.
Yeah.
He's your number 4.
I mean, it's better than a painter that copies other people's
Art
moves.
is fun, Garrett.
Arts
and crafts.
Art is fun. I wouldn't put an artist in my battle.
Wow.
I wouldn't want to get a badge with an artist.
I would, if he can do every move known to Pokemon.
Self-destruct. Oh, look what this move I...
He only learns moves you want him to. All right, Joshua, what is your number 4?
So I'm actually looking through the artists of the themes. Is there a specific name to the song, or is it like the intro?
I want to be the very best. I don't know.
No, I believe it's the Pokemon intro.
Because I'm going through the artists. Like NSYNC is in there on the soundtrack.
Yeah, they're on the album.
Also is 98 Degrees.
But they did not sing that song.
Aaron Carter, which is a little brother Backstreet Boy. Christina Aguilera is in there, as well as Britney Spears. Wow.
So what is your number 4, sir?
Sure, we'll just bypass everything I just said because Johnny wants to be right.
Well, no, because I'm just saying, because, you were talking, I don't know. Let's just go.
Okay. My number 4 is one that someone likes and somebody hates. It is Scizor.
Which number is that for you?
4.
Okay.
Scizor. No, so what I don't like about him is he takes his blades and turns them into like
clamps.
Yeah, pretty much.
I give him the clamps.
I was gonna do it.
You want to clamp him?
Dang it!
Turns into bottle openers. But he gets like a crazy looking armor, and he just was a cool character to evolve to because it completely changes Scyther's form. And usually you'll see similarities in Pokemon as they evolve, but this one just completely different look. Besides his his little wing.
Well, what is it? You give him the metal?
Yeah, he gets metal type now.
He's a steel type.
No,
dude.
but you give him something, and then trade with him. I think that's how you get Scizor and
Yes.
Steelix.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it's called, but metal something.
That's right.
Yeah, so yeah, you got the Pokemon in the second gen get to hold items, and certain items they hold on to evolve. But yeah, so that was my pick. Nothing crazy special. I just thought he looked cool and completely different evolution look.
All right, my number 3 is Scizor. Scizor is
Moving on.
Scizor.
it's not Scizor, it's Scizor.
Scizor.
He is Scizor.
If it's Scyther, it's Scizor.
Except when Joshua was saying it's Scizor.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
also
Anyway,
wrong.
Scizor, he's awesome because most Pokemon when they evolve, they keep their same traits as far as what they look like from previously. And this guy doesn't even look like he evolves from Scizor. He ditches all that grass, dirty nonsense, and he becomes this like steel. He looks like a freaking Power Ranger, man. He just looks awesome and cool. He can still fly, and he is just a beastly Pokemon. So that's why I picked Scizor.
Scizor.
What's your number 3?
Coming
Scizor.
in at number 3, Fennekin.
Ugh.
He's super cute. He's crazy adorable, and he's a fire fox. I love foxes. He's a fire fox, and he levels up and becomes a wizard. I'm surprised you're not more into this because you like wizards.
I mean, they already had a Firefox.
We'll get to that.
That's a wrong game.
We'll get to that. But Fennekin, super cute. And he evolves, it gets magic wands. I'm really surprised you're not more into this.
He doesn't have magic powers, though. He just still uses
No,
fire.
Yeah, but he uses it with a fire stick.
That,
It's imbued.
no, that's not a real wizard. All right. JG, what is your number 3?
My number 3 has already been called out a millennium ago.
Fennekin.
No,
Oh.
not at all. Mine is the Thunder Shoes Zapatos.
Zapdos.
Zapdos.
Sir.
Yes. So yes, you get to go into the power plant, and you probably have all your Pokemon faint, and then undeniably, for some reason, if all your Pokemon faint, you pass out, and then you have your money's gone.
Man,
or something.
you can't believe that all your Pokemon fainted, so you faint too.
Yeah, and then
you
a
get
thief,
mugged.
You get mugged, and that mugger is kind enough to drop you off at the nearest Pokecenter.
I've always thought it was weird.
Good guy mugger.
In the first games, it says like whatever your name is, like red blacked out, and in the later games, it says red whited out. Do you know that?
No,
It is
because I never lost all my Pokemon. I mean, maybe you did. That's fine, but I'm a Pokemon trainer, and I'm gonna be
Do
a
they
Pokemon
say whited
master.
out in later games?
Yes. So if you pass out in the first game or two, it says like red blacked out, and then later, like in the newer one, it'll say red whited out.
Why is whited out a term?
I couldn't tell you, man, but just I noticed it. Okay. Whose turn is it?
It's yours. I have nothing special to say about Zapdos.
Okay.
Garrett.
So
But I do want to point out that's 2 Zapdos, 1 Moltres.
that's because Moltres is he's
Yeah,
elite.
Yeah, that's what
Moltres
that is.
So
looks like a girl.
number 2 for me is Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil is awesome, man. I mean, he was the second starter I ever picked, and he doesn't equal up to Charmander. He's close though. He's just awesome. He's a fire mouse. I mean, you look at Pikachu, that piece of crap, and he's electric mouse. People loved him. I don't see why more people don't like Cyndaquil. He's a fire mouse. He was so cute, and he had powers, and he burned Ash Ketchum. He was just cool, man.
Cyndaquil can never open his eyes.
I mean, he's like Brock. He can open his eyes, and Brock could see.
Does Brock ever open his eyes?
Brock's eyes are open.
Are you sure?
He's walking around, right? He's not tripping.
He's like Daredevil.
Daredevil, yes, exactly.
Wow, okay.
Exactly.
Anyway, Cyndaquil is just awesome. He's
Brock's a
cute.
I don't know how he
Daredevil
knows all the
Pokemon.
nurse joys are hot.
And then
Right? And then the
He
Jennies.
had new fire moves, and so he's my first Pokemon in Gold and Silver. He had Flame Wheel, which is a new fire move, and I just loved that. He was powerful. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed him. Good job, Cyndaquil.
Coming in at number 2,
Here we go.
Vulpix.
I knew that was coming 1 or 2.
Vulpix is awesome. Vulpix is one of my top favorite Pokemon. As I mentioned earlier, I love foxes. Vulpix is adorable. And
What does the fox say?
No.
Ding 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 ding
And
ding ding.
Brock in the show cares for one, and super cute still. So I don't know, cute fire foxes. That's my thing. Joshua?
Oh, you want me to chime in?
No, I want you. No, I want you to pick
Pop,
the next
pop, pop, pop,
Pokemon.
pop.
I will leave at number 1 if this keeps up.
All right, go ahead, Joshua.
We have fun here.
That was good.
My number 2
Some of us do.
is one that's already taken again. I should never go last.
Oh my
That's taken
gosh.
never again. Mewtwo. So the thing about Mewtwo is you have to find Mewtwo in the original game. You kind of go through a dungeon. You have to go so deep into that dungeon.
You
It's
do.
at the very bottom level, and you can get lost in there real easily. No, I did not use Lapras to surf my way down there. I used somebody else because it's not worth my time. But
Lapras is a good Pokemon.
No one likes Lapras.
yeah, so Mewtwo is a character again where if you don't catch it, or even if correct me if I'm wrong. If Mewtwo runs away,
That's it. You don't get him
you don't
again.
get him again,
Yeah.
right? So it's like pretty much first try. You don't save your game
Well,
the first time around.
Yeah, you better
You're done.
save the game.
Save that game.
You just walk right in front of him and just
Better
save.
Use that time spell and see Dormammu.
Go back in time. No, that was just that deep, and it was very rewarding because you're like, what is this Pokemon? It had a very unique sound to him as well. And if you've already wasted your Master Ball, good luck.
Well, if you were smart,
who's
you
using
should.
their Master Ball.
you should have
Anything
duplicated
but a
that.
Mewtwo.
But the first time you played that game, you didn't know that Mewtwo probably existed,
Yeah,
and you didn't know
true.
that was the hardest Pokemon to catch in that game. You can take that life all the way down to practically 1, and it was still hard to catch
Yeah,
in
he
a
still
lot of
wouldn't.
cases.
Well, I mean, if you're paying attention in the Pokemon Mansion and reading those diaries, you learn about Mew and Mewtwo.
Fair point.
Of course, if you're a kid playing games that long, you're not reading the diaries.
Exactly.
You're catching
Nobody
Pokemon
does
and catching
those things.
Growlithe.
Nobody does those things.
All right. So moving on to number 1.
It better be a good number 1, Johnny.
My number 1
Ice cream cone.
is Charmander. Charmander is my first Pokemon ever. He turns into, like Garrett said earlier, a freaking flying fire type, but he's essentially a dragon. I mean, they couldn't make him 3 types. And he is just all kinds of cute and awesome. He's made of fire. He's the best Pokemon that I have ever pretend owned. So Charmander.
I feel to take out Charmander, you just had to like pinch his tail and put that fire out, and he was done.
Nah, man, it'll burn you. He'll
Well,
burn.
not like a candle.
No,
You're
but
done.
if you put the fires out, they
It's
die.
a big fire though. It's a campfire.
He's
It's
afraid
big.
of rain.
I
He was cowering under that leaf.
because he
Bulbasaur wasn't. Bulbasaur was fine.
not if Charmander wishes him to fry.
Apparently not in the rain.
All right, what's your number 1, sir?
Coming in at number 1, my favorite Pokemon of all time,
Better not be another fox.
It is.
Ninetales.
I knew it.
Wow.
Vulpix is my number 2. Ninetales is my number 1. It's a fox. It's a fire fox with 9 tails. It's the most elegant Pokemon I've ever seen.
And this is the guy that hasn't even finished Naruto.
So
I keep
he's not even at
I
Shippuden.
keep stopping at the same episode. I stopped again. I watched the whole series again and stopped at the same
I
spot.
keep telling you to skip the filler. You don't listen.
He's in a time paradox with.
with Naruto.
So how many fire Pokemon do you have in your list?
So
like 7?
I was thinking about that,
They're all
and
foxes?
I've got a lot of fire Pokemon in my list.
How did you beat the game?
2, 3,
With
You can
collecting
do it.
all fire
5.
Pokemon.
5.
I have 4 fire types.
Well, I mean, to be fair, these fire types spanned across different generations. I didn't just have them all, and
if you count Gyarados, I have
14.
5 fire types because he can do like Dragon Rage and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just getting a hard time.
that's not a fire
Well,
type.
yeah,
though.
yeah.
It's
he's not a fire
close.
type.
It's
No.
close.
No, it's Dragon
Just because
Fire.
you a fire move doesn't mean he's a fire type.
Oh, 5 because I have Smeargle. Smeargle can do fire type moves. Smeargle can do fire type moves. All right, Joshua.
Ninetales.
What's your?
Awesome.
What? Oh, you done?
No, that was it.
Are you good? Okay. What's your number 1, sir?
So it's ironic that all of our top Pokemon have to do with fire. So my number 1 is Blaziken.
All right.
So we talked about I like fighting Pokemon earlier before. This is a fighting and fire type Pokemon. Got little punches
First
and
of
ninja
many.
kicks. Well, it's the cool looking one. He's got bell bottom sweatpants and
That's not cool.
Blaziken's cool.
It's a cool little outfit. I mean, it was a cool character to bring in Pokemon.
But he's not wearing it out. That's his body. That's his skin and his feathers and stuff.
Well, it's cool for the character. You know what's not cool? Gray Ninja having you find out it's a tongue that's wrapped around his whole
That
freaking
is
neck.
cool.
That's nasty.
I think the tongue as a scarf is actually really clever.
That is like dirty.
That's pretty gross.
He's a gecko.
I guess. But no, Blaziken just a boxing ninja fire kicking.
He's
Ken.
cool.
He's the Ken of
She's
Pokemon.
cool.
That I have a male one. Sorry.
Wow.
He is the Ken of Pokemon. Actually, what I liked about the Pokemon in the second generation is that you can have male and female, and then you can breed, and that kind of carried on, which is pretty cool. So they're not like asexual. Or
What was it? It was Torchic Combuskin. I think that was the second evolution, and then Blaziken.
It's Combuskin.
Yep.
Combuskin looks terrible.
All right, so that is our top 10. As Garrett loves to do, we'll go ahead and mention one honorable mention Pokemon. So we can have one of those. So I'm ready to go.
Well, I mean that was Joshua's.
So
last time.
Okay. Well, my honorable mention is Lapras. Lapras is
all this talk about Lapras, and Lapras didn't even make the top 10.
Right. I didn't say that it was my favorite Pokemon, but I did say that it's awesome. Lapras is the Loch Ness Monster Pokemon. It's wise and it helps travelers, it helps people, it helps Ash catch them. It's a Pokemon that you don't see very often. You can't ever catch it anywhere. If you can't get it from someone or find it as a legendary, you're not gonna find it. You can't catch it on a hook.
That is not a legendary Pokemon.
Lapras is a beautiful Pokemon. So Lapras is my honorable mention.
You pick Shuckle over Lapras.
Oh my!
You did pick Shuckle over Lapras.
Okay, yes.
You realize that, right?
Shuckle should have been the honorable mention.
If anything.
What do you got, sir?
Coming in at Garrett's honorable mention, Pikachu.
I knew you were gonna do that. Pikachu is garbage.
Ash's
Pikachu is the face
strongest.
of Pokemon.
It's the face of Pokemon. Honestly, I don't think Pokemon would be where it is without Pikachu.
That is true.
They made a game called
Pikachu got his own version.
That's true.
Pokemon Yellow, in which you can get all the starters.
That's a good point.
After starting with Pikachu. And Pikachu follows you around. That was awesome.
All right.
Thanks, Pikachu.
Yeah, the thing about that game is unless you cheated or glitched it, you had to have Pikachu in your party the entire time. And even in places where you're like, I don't need a Thunder type.
I never noticed that, but I guess because I never tried to take Pikachu out.
You can't.
I never knew that.
Pikachu is not in a Pokeball. You can't take. I don't think you can take Pikachu out of your party.
I'm so glad I never got Pokemon Yellow now.
Really?
But
then you missed out surfing Pikachu.
I don't want surfing Pikachu.
Pikachu can learn surf.
That's true. Yes, Pikachu can learn surf for some odd reason.
Well, because no, surfboard.
I don't think you can take Pikachu out of your party.
That's
never
ridiculous.
knew that. But I never tried.
All right, what is your
Who buys
honorable
Pokemon
mention?
Yellow and takes out Pikachu?
I would have. I don't like Pikachu. That's why I never bought Pokemon Yellow.
And that's why Shuckle made it in your top 10.
So my honorable mention, I'm gonna do an off the ball one. Mine was Mantine.
You did talk about that
wow.
earlier.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I really liked stingrays. I thought they were just these cool little elegant, fish that just had a tail that could just sting you. And I mean, there's nothing more to that, right? But in Mantine, it was just a Pokemon that was pretty much the same thing, and I just thought it was cool. So that's a Pokemon that I had used in my party, and then I realized that it wasn't really doing anything for my party.
You benched him.
Just a filler, just a backup third string,
That happens sometimes.
sixth string, and then you got benched for a duplicated Pokemon.
Wow, this guy.
That's my honorable mention.
All right, sounds good. You guys got anything you want to add before we wrap this up?
Pokemon trainers, keep at it.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoy the game. I'll pick it up once they make it a much more difficult game. But we have all enjoyed Pokemon to some degree at some point.
I will be picking up Sun and Moon. More excited for Moon.
I might pick them up at some point, not anytime soon. I have all the others, so this is the first time I'm really stepping away from it. So we'll see where I hop back in.
But you get snow Pokemon.
Ooh.
You You get to go to the Aloha.
Oh, yeah.
Long-necked
Alola.
Executor.
Palm tree?
No,
Executor?
there's a snow Vulpix.
Yes,
which means there's a snow Ninetales.
That's so
Do I get a Snowstone? Is that
I don't
what
know
I
how
need
they're
to
going to
evolve
figure
it?
it. Yeah, it's
I don't
weird.
know. I probably won't get it just because like I said before, I haven't been out of Pokemon for a while. But one thing I was into for a little bit was the trading card game.
Yeah.
And when the Game Boy version came out, I was on that like hardcore.
The Game Boy version of the trading card game?
Yes, I was on that a lot. And in that game, you can save multiple decks. Like you can have multiple decks based on the cards you have, and then you can save up to I don't know how many decks, but I ended up creating like 30 or 40 decks just because I had that many cards. Like here's my all rock deck, and here's my Phantom deck, and here's my whatever deck. Like I put a lot of time into that game.
That
was a
game's
lot
got
of fun.
some awesome music.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
I love
does.
that.
I didn't play it, but I have heard the music. It is pretty good. All right, guys. So that's going to conclude our content for the Pokemon Special Edition podcast. We hope you enjoyed what you listened to. We do appreciate you guys tuning in with us. You have a lot of options, obviously. So let us know, guys, what you like, what you don't like, what you want us to do. What maybe new topics for some special episodes. We've got tons of stuff coming out. We're entering the holidays with the big games. So make sure you hit us up. You can email us at supercoopsquad@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter at supercoopsquad. Join us and follow on Facebook. That's facebook.com/supercoopsquad. And leave us a review on iTunes, guys. Let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. We'd love to get some feedback. In any of those ways, you reach out to us every week, guys. We'll be giving out 3 prizes, games, all kind of different content for you. Swag. Yeah, swag. So let us know, what you're thinking and help us continue to get better. Lastly, guys, let some friends and fam know about us. If you got some gamer friends or people into movies or comics or whatnot, turn them on to us. Send them a link and get some people listening. Thank you guys for listening. Once again, I'm Johnny.
I'm Garrett.
I'm Joshua.
See you next time.